Ms. Wilson, you're in the middle of a paternity triangle, caught between two men you slept with, cousins who grew up as brothers, two men who believe they fathered your 10-month-old son, Arrow. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Nicola, you've always believed Arrow is your biological son, and you are here to prove that today because your whole family has come to love him as yours. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Eddy, you admit to sleeping with your cousin's fiance. You and your aunt contend you are Arrow's father and plan to prove it today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And for the record, these two young men are first cousins.
Yes, Your Honor.
And their mothers are identical twins.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'm not sure how much looks is gonna play in this equation. So, Ms. Wilson, I want to ask you, how do we end up in a paternity dispute involving two cousins?
I messed up. I made a mistake. I'm here today to figure it out. I don't want the family feud going on anymore, and me exactly in the middle of it, my child in the middle of it. One night, there was a family get-together. There was alcohol involved. Cordell had been tired from work that day. He had work the next day, and he didn't want to drink. We had all gotten hot inside. Nathan and I went outside. I became very intoxicated, and he kind of like took care of me, and before it ended up, we were on a hay bale and we had sex.
Wow. Mr. Eddy, what is your recollection of this night?
I mean, I wish it wouldn't have happened because, you know, he's my cousin. She told me that I was really cute and she kissed me. And then we started walking to the hay bale and it just went from there.
So you had sex on this hay bale?
Yes, Your Honor.
Outside of the house where your cousin was in there sleeping after work?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many times did you have sex that night?
Twice, Your Honor.
So is it safe to assume that it was unsafe sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
So no protection. What happens when you wake up the next day?
He went to work and we just kept it secret until the week.
So, Mr. Nicola, they admittedly kept it a secret.
Yes,
What was your recollection of that night?
I came home from work. I dozed off on the couch, woke up. They were all outside. It was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I went out and told them it's time to come in because it was getting late. And I came in, I put everybody to bed, being responsible, because I had to get up early the next day. And I went and slept on the couch again, got up for work the next day.
And you had no idea that your cousin had had sex with your girlfriend out on the hay bale before you put them to bed?
No, Your Honor. He is my cousin, and I trusted her.
And it happened twice. It happened that night after Cordell had put us to bed.
Oh, after he put you to bed, you had sex again?
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. So, Mr. Nicola, it's odd because we started with you. Now I feel like the whole tide has switched and now we're over with Mr. Eddy. But when did you find out Ms. Wilson was pregnant?
The same day, I came home from work with my son, and she told him to tell me that there was a pie in the oven, and I asked her what kind, because I was hungry after work, and I didn't catch on.
Oh, you cooked? Oh, thank God you cooked. That's what you were thinking?
I didn't catch on. She showed me a pregnancy test from where we did have a miscarriage. I was happy for her.
Why are you emotional? What are you feeling, Mr. Nicola?
I just really want
You said you just really want...
Arrow to be mine.
Oh. The consequences, right? Isn't that one of the most important lessons we learn in life? Consequence.
And right now,
I've seen everything with Arrow because I've been there the entire time.
And I'm sure this entire situation is just weighing on you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's why we're here today. I messed up. I made a big mistake, and I really ruined a family. And I'm going to be the first to call myself out because it wasn't right. And I just want to figure it out. I know somebody's going to get hurt today, and I'm sorry to everyone involved. But I just want to get the story ended.
I appreciate your honesty. How close in proximity were you intimate with both men, Mr. Nicola and Mr. Eddy?
I had sex with Nathan on October 7th. Before that, I had sex with Cordell. It was the 4th or the 5th.
You had sex with Mr. Eddy on October 7th. Your doctor's appointment was the week of the 30th, and you were told you were 4 weeks pregnant. Mm-hmm. Your doctor then gives you a conception date around October 7th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which would point to Mr. Eddy. But because you just said you were intimate with Mr. Nicola 2 or so days before, we're still in the window.
Yes, Your Honor.
I get you would still want to be in the relationship with Mr. Nicola if you want it, but are you just saying you believe he's the father because you want the relationship with him? Is it just something pulling you in that direction because that's what you want, or do you?
No, I looked it up, and there's like a window of like 5 days and like your conception that you're fertile and you ovulate and stuff, and so I'm going based on that.
Your Honor, that's another reason why I believe 100% that he's mine.
Your mother submitted a statement to the court. She's one of the identical twins, and Miss McCartney sent this statement. Cordell's the dad. He's been dad since day one, and I've been grandma since day one. I'll continue to be grandma either way. So your mother's developed a significant bond with Arrow as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
And she believes she's the grandmother.
Yes, Your Honor.
And raises and treats the baby like he's her grandson.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Eddy, your mother also submitted a statement to the court. She's the other identical twin. She says, I believe my son is Arrow's father. When she took the pregnancy test, I was the first one her and Nathan showed it to. I said, okay, who's the dad? And she said it had to be Nathan because her and Cordell hadn't done anything. I even offered to pay for a DNA test when Arrow was 2 to 3 months old, and she refused. It's making me crazy. It's really messed up me and my sister's relationship, and we're twins. I've missed a year of being a grandma that I can't get back if he's the dad.
Your Honor, I did not refuse to go get a DNA test. I wanted to from the beginning. I told her anytime. She said that she would give me a date, and she never gave me a date. So that's why I personally came here to get the answer.
Your Honor, she refused 2 of them. My sister told her she would do 2 of them, and she never got back with my sister.
So, Miss Endicott, you are Mr. Eddy's aunt.
And Cordell's.
And Cordell's aunt.
Yep.
Okay, so you're another sibling, but just not the twins.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm the little sister.
You're the little sister.
Yeah.
What do you know about this ma'am?
I do know that she tells Nathan all the time, you're the daddy. Then she'll go back to Cordell and say, you're the daddy. I just want it done and over with. And if it's Nathan, that's cool. He needs to be a daddy, be in the life. And if it's Cordell, she needs to leave Nathan alone so he can go on.
So, Ms. Wilson, did you put Mr. Eddy or Mr. Nicola on Arrow's birth certificate?
Yes, put Cordell.
Oh, you put Mr. Nicola on the
He
birth
signed it, yes.
Was that because he was with you or because you all made a decision? Was it a 3-way consultation?
No, Your Honor. He was there at the birth, and I felt like Nathan wasn't even ready if it was his own son because he didn't have a job. He didn't have a vehicle. He still lived with his parents, his aunt, somebody. He'd never had his own place, and...
So you picking the best father? You're not picking the biological father, you picking the best father. You've been honest to this point. What if he would have had the opportunity to be there because he had transportation and he had notice?
We would have went through with the DNA. If somebody told me that I had a son and he's being born, I don't care if I had to hitchhike. I would be at the hospital the day after.
So you felt like because he didn't get there, he wasn't as committed, which only reaffirmed the reason why you decided Mr. Nicola is going to be the best father for the baby. I'm putting his name on the birth certificate.
And I believed he was. I still believe he is.
I have seen families come up in this courtroom and act a plumb fool over less drama than this. But you two have not spoken an ill word about the other. You all have both cried when you talk about the baby and one another. What is your relationship like?
We was real close all through school. I mean, I just want to keep it that way. I don't want no conflict with anybody.
This is just eating you up, isn't it, Mr. Eddy?
Yep.
I can just see, honey. Mr. Nicola, you can't really even look at your cousin right now?
No, Your Honor.
You can't.
No, Your Honor.
What do you feel? Why can't you look?
Betrayed,
Betrayed.
but we have been trying to get back to where we were. Just for our family, because even me and his mom had a close connection, and me and his mom don't even talk no more.
This is a family divided. First cousins who could both be the father and identical twins who could both be the grandmothers. Is there anything you two cousins would like to say to one another before I go to the results? Is there anything you would like to say?
I'm sorry for what I did to you. I always love you.
In the case of Wilson Nicola versus Eddy, pertaining to whether Mr. Nicola or Mr. Eddy is the father of 10-month-old Arrow Nicola, the biological father is Mr. Nicola. You made it through. How does it feel, Mr. Nicola?
Great. I'm glad it's over with. Now, hopefully, me and Nathan can get our relationship back the way it was.
This was a family saga unlike anything I think we've ever seen in this courtroom. And I hope this truth is the beginning of, I think, just at least an opportunity for you all to begin to repair that beautiful relationship you had. You're both such lovely young men. Not perfect young men, but you really showed respect in this courtroom. For yourselves, for your family, for one another, for Arrow. I couldn't have asked for more.